Long ago, King Nebuchadnezzar conquered Jerusalem. The Lord delivered the city into his hands as the Babylonian army sacked the temple, carrying off its riches. Nebuchadnezzar ordered his men to kidnap young citizens of Israel who were strong, quick to learn, handsome, and teach them the ways of Babylon. The assimilation would be complete only when they had learned everything about the culture and were fully equipped to serve in the palace. Though captives in a strange land, they were treated as royalty. The aim wasn't to make them slaves, their goal was to make them Babylonians. For 3 years, these adolescents were groomed to be workers in Nebuchadnezzar's kingdom. They were even given new names, such as Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And among them rose a leader whose name was Daniel. Daniel, held against his will, was brought to Babylon and given the finest food Nebuchadnezzar's kingdom had to offer. Yet Daniel resolved not to eat food which honored Babylon, and he asked permission to eat food that honored the Lord. "Test us," he said. "For 10 days give us nothing but vegetables and water. Then compare our appearance to the rest of the men who ate from Nebuchadnezzar's table. If you're not pleased with the results, treat us as you wish. We are, after all, your servants." The gods agreed to this and tested them for 10 days. At the end of these 10 days, Daniel and his friends looked healthier than any of the young men who ate the royal food. Through their faithfulness, Daniel and his friends swayed the opinions of those around them, and the Lord gave them knowledge and understanding of all kinds of literature and learning. Daniel could understand visions and dreams of all kinds. At the end of their training, Daniel and his friends far surpassed their peers. They entered into the service of Nebuchadnezzar, and when they moved into the palace, the Lord was there.
All right, so this week I have the privilege. I have the privilege of speaking to you guys. As you saw in the video, we're going to be learning through the life of Daniel. We are discovering God's will for our lives. Today we're going to be talking about, our theme is being called, that God has a plan for each and every one of us. So at this time, I want to invite my friend Janelle to come up. Come on up, Janelle. Where's that paper? All right. Janelle is going to read from the Bible for us. We're going to read our daily verse. You ready? Got it on phone. I mean, listen, did you memorize it already? Oh, that'd be pretty cool. Nervous? Don't be nervous. All right, you ready?
Daniel 1 through 9 and 17. In the 3rd year of the reign of
Jehoiakim,
king of Judah, king of Babylon, came to Jerusalem and besieged it. And the Lord gave Jehoiakim, king of Judah, into his hand. But some of these vessels of the house of God brought it down to the land of Shinar, to the house of his God, and placed the vessels in the treasury of his God. Then the king commanded Ashpenaz, his chef eunuch, to bring some of the people to Israel, both of the royal family and of the nobility youths without blemish, of good parents and skillful in all wisdom, endowed with knowledge, understanding, learning, to content, to stand in the king's palace, and to teach them the literature and language of the Chaldeans. The king assigned them a daily portion of the food that the king ate and of the wine that he drank. They were to be educated for 3 years, and at the end of that time, they were to stand before the king. Among these were Daniel, Nana, chief of eunuchs gave them names. Daniel, he called Belshazzar. Hannah, he called Shadrach. Michelle, he called Meshach. And Ezra, he called Abednego. But Daniel resolved that he would not fill himself with the king's food or with the wine that he drank. Therefore, he asked the chief of the eunuchs to allow him not to believe himself. And God gave Daniel favor and compassion in the sight of the chief of the eunuchs. As for these youths, God gave them learning and skill in literature and wisdom, and Daniel had understanding in all visions and dreams.
Thank you. So, Daniel and his 4 friends, 3 friends, there was 4 of them total. I can do math real well. And look, I can count to 20 because I have flip-flops on. Anyway, so Daniel and his friends were all taken from their home. Could you guys imagine being taken from your home? And I don't mean like, you guys were all taken from your home to come to camp. Right? But this isn't just being taken from your home to go to camp or on vacation or Disney World or wherever. This is literally being taken from your home and going to live somewhere else. Right? Being taught a different religion, being fed different foods. Right? Can anybody enjoy that, you think? No? I wouldn't. So let me back up a second. Let me ask you guys a question. Has anyone here ever made plans for anything? Okay. When we go to a trip, right? Everybody was coming here to camp. Whether you make that, whether you make the plans or whether your parents did it for you, you had to make plans to come here. You had to pay. We had to register, right? Who here didn't pay? Just kidding. Don't answer that question. Don't answer that question. But we all have at some point, whether you plan to go to school, right? Who likes school? Okay, cool. No, you don't like it. Alright, shh. Alright, put your hands down. Put your hands down. Okay. Has anyone ever, let me change directions. Has anyone here ever wondered what God's plan is for their life? Who here, alright, hands down. Good. Who here knows that God actually does have a plan for your life? Awesome. So I don't even need to keep talking. I can just go and you guys can sit here in silence for the next half hour, right? So God has, and you're gonna hear the same theme throughout the week. You're going to hear, you guys are going to hear from Mr. Josh tonight. He's also going to talk. And today, like I said, the theme is being called. God has a plan for each and every one of you. Whether you know it or not, whether you have a relationship with God or not, and we'll get into that later on in the week, whether you believe in Him or not, whether you understand or know who Jesus Christ is, or who the Holy Spirit is, whether you know or understand or believe any of that, God has a plan for each and every one of you. It's not an accident that any of you are here. Right? Nobody is here by mistake. Nobody is born by mistake. Nobody was created by mistake. God has a plan for each and every one of us. So our plans, though, it's funny. How many of you have ever made a plan and then your parents did something else? So you make a plan to go hang out with your friends and your parents say, nope, you're going to school. Or, all right, hands down, hands down. Or you make a plan to go to the movies and your friends say, no, we're going to another movie. Right? Okay. So, careful, there's a light there. So, our plans don't always work out, right? Is that fair to say? Most everybody would agree that anytime we make plans, that they don't necessarily work out? Okay. How many of you have ever done something you thought was right and it turned out to be wrong? How many of you have ever done something that, hands down, how many of you have ever done something that you thought was right and it didn't necessarily turn out to be wrong, just the outcome was different? Okay, hands down, hands down, hands down. Oftentimes, just like in the story of Daniel, Daniel and his friends grew up in Jerusalem. It's safe to say that Daniel didn't plan to be taken from his home. Right? You guys all planned. Who here didn't know they were coming to camp? Who here was a surprise? Your parents were like, hey, guess what? Today you're going to camp. Really? You didn't know you were coming today? Okay, well, that's all right. Daniel and his friends they didn't wake up one day and say, hey, you know what? We want to be captured. We want to be taken prisoner. We want this army to come in and invade our country and take us to a different place and teach us a different language and teach us a different religion. They didn't plan that. It just happened. But you know what's the cool thing about it is God had a plan for their lives. Right? So, our plans and God's plans are so many times different. What we plan, what we want for our lives, what we want to do, what we want to accomplish is so many times different from what God has.